Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Devin with HDpiano.com, and I'm coming at you today with our top requested lesson, the classic, the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. I'll be showing you guys the first 8 measures in this video, and it looks a little something like this. Alright, so we'll be getting through that much in this video, but the rest of the videos with the rest of the song can all be found over at hdpiano.com. So I hope to see you guys there after this. Now, before I dive in and break this down for you guys, I was doing some research before teaching this one, and, just like learning about Beethoven, because it's been a while. And the guy is certainly an interesting character. He had quite the life experience, lots of ups and downs, lots of beautiful music, but lots of personal struggle as well. My favorite interesting fact about this piece in particular was the fact that it wasn't actually called the Moonlight Sonata until 5 years after his death, when I think a German poet just decided that's what he thought it sounded like, and the name really stuck. So I'd like you guys to do a little research and drop your favorite fact about Beethoven or the Moonlight Sonata in the comments below. All right, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. So let's dive in. So first, to learn this piece, I want to just get familiar with the chords. We'll add the motion in the right hand a little further down the line, but we're going to start off by just learning, where to put our hands so that we're very familiar with every transition between one measure to the next. So we are in the key of C sharp minor, which means we're going to have a lot of sharps, so brace yourself. We have octave C sharps in the left, and in the right we have G sharp, C sharp, and E. Now we have a full measure of this just, basic C sharp minor chord. And then our second measure, our left hand's going to come down to octave Bs. And our right hand is going to remain the same. So we have the same sound in our right hand, but we have this nice descending bass line in our left. All right, now our next measure, we have 2 chords. We start on A major root position. So octave A's in the left and A, C sharp, E in the right. All right, so we have 2 beats of that. Then our left hand comes down to F sharps in down low, and our right hand plays A, D, and F sharp. So that's D major over F sharp. All right, so D major root position in the right hand, quick theory aside here, would be D, F sharp, A. 1 inversion up means putting that D on top. 1 more inversion, and we put the F sharp on top, and we get D second inversion over F sharp in the bass. All right, so remember that third measure is A major for 2 beats, and D over F sharp for 2 beats. And our fourth measure starts with G sharp 7. All right, so here's where it's going to get a little tricky. In the right hand, we start with G sharp, B sharp, and F sharp. So we have 1 beat of that, G sharp 7, and then we go to our second beat, which is C sharp minor, as we know it from the first measure, and then a different version of G sharp 7 with F sharp on bottom, B sharp, and D sharp. Oops, sorry, I skipped a note there. Our third beat is actually G sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. And then we go to that final G sharp 7, F sharp, B sharp, D sharp. So that fourth measure, we start here. Our second beat, we come down to C sharp minor. Then we just bring that top note down to D sharp. And then we keep the top note and change our bottom 2 notes to G sharp 7, F sharp, and B sharp. All right, so let me play through those first 4 measures, still without rhythm, just working through these chords. C sharp minor is our first. Now just the bass line changes for our second measure. Very nice. Now we're going to A major root position. Okay, now our left hand goes down to F sharp. Right hand, top two notes become D and F sharp. Keep the A. All right, and our fourth measure, G sharp 7, C sharp minor, and then top note becomes a D sharp, and then one more G sharp 7, and then we're into the second four measures. But we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's break down these first four measures a little further and figure out how to put this all in rhythm. So even though we're only working with an 8 measure section in this video, you might have thought like, wow, geez, what was that, like 20 minutes? You know, I mean, it's such a long piece for being so few measures. Because our tempo is 42 beats per minute. I think that's what I sent my metronome to, which is more than a second for every beat. So we're dividing each beat into triplets, and we're hearing this in the right hand pretty much throughout the entire piece. Until the last measure, I don't believe there is a moment without triplets. All right, so if our tempo is 1, 2, 3, 4, well, within that span of each beat, we're going to divide it into 3 subdivisions, and we're going to get triplets, and we're going to play the bottom, the middle, and the top note of the chord in our right hand. And there's a measure right there, probably like 5 seconds. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. And then we do the same thing, but we change our left hand to B. Now we have our 2 measures of A major, root position, 2 beats rather, and now 2 beats of D over F sharp, G sharp 7, C sharp minor, and we do the left hand again. And we're into the 5th measure. All right, so if that was hard to follow along, if it was hard for you to follow along, then keep working on just the chords. And you can plot out each beat in the right hand, like this. This way you can be prepared for the transitions. All right, so this is how I'd like you to practice until you feel comfortable adding the triplets in the right hand. All right, so every beat I'm just playing the whole chord. Okay, so first 4 measures down. How about I play it one more time for you guys? Nice and slow. Left hand down to B. A major root position. D major over F sharp. G sharp 7. C sharp minor. We just change that top note and our final chord. And we're into the second half of these 8 measures that we're working on. So before I move on, we're going to get to introducing the melody. And the tricky part about this piece is we've still got this, running ostinato of the triplets in our right hand. And our bass part remains mostly the same. Lots of whole notes and half notes, a couple of quarter notes here and there. But we're trying to make the melody sing while playing triplets and while staying in a very soft dynamic range. I don't believe this piece ever goes beyond piano. In fact, all I see is pianissimo, like the 2 P's next to each other. So we're just trying to be as tender as possible. So while you're practicing, be very aware of that it's all about that light touch, getting that soft, gentle sound out of the piano. Anyways, we've been through those first 4 measures, so let's look at the next 4. Oops, see right there, it's tough. My finger overreacted. Ooh, it's hard. All right, so let's look at those two measures. Our left hand started with C sharp, G sharp, and C sharp, and we held that for a full measure. And our right hand started with C sharp minor first inversion, so E, G sharp, C sharp, and then we took it up to our familiar second inversion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we add the melody in our pinky, a high G sharp. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And so what's happening is the melody is subdivided into 16th notes, but the triplet ostinato is triplets. So we have a triplet, and it creates that extra fourth note that falls after the final note of the triplet. So we land together on beat 4, 4, triplet, and 1. And generally this pattern remains consistent in the melody. There's a lot of moments where it's going to be the very last note before we move on to the next measure. So let's add some motion into the right-hand part. Notice I'm adjusting my fingers, getting ready for my pinky. All right, so if you've got that measure, let's move on. We've got B sharp, G sharp, and B sharp in the left hand. And this is very low and muddy, but if we just hit it ever so gently, it just creates this nice luscious pad for our right hand. And in our right hand, we have G sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and the melody on G sharp. So we're coming out of C sharp minor. So that measure was all the same pretty much. Left hand was hanging out with a whole note. Right hand just played this chord for 4 beats. And the melody on top of that, I want to make it sing a little bit. Beat 4, we play the same thing. All right, so that 7th measure there, we landed back on C sharp in our left hand, and we have 2 beats of C sharp. And we have the usual C sharp minor second inversion in our triplet section here, and our melody is just a half note on G sharp, so it looks like this. And then we go to F sharp minor. So octave F sharps in the left, A, F sharp, A, C sharp, and F sharp, and the melody is another half note on A. So we have one more measure left, and this is E major in the right hand over B in the left hand. So our melody is a G sharp for a half note, and we have 2 beats of E major, which is G sharp, B, and E. All right, that's 2 beats. Our next chord is B7, so octave B's in the left again for half note. And our right hand melody is F sharp, and our triplet section is A, B, D sharp. 1 beat, and then we reset the melody to B, but the triplets remain the same. So it requires a gentle or a slight adjustment of the fingering there. So notice what's happening there. And we land on E major. And we're going to pick up there in the next video. If it's still kind of tough to get through these next 4 measures, then I recommend, again, practicing just the chords, like so, with the transitions. Melody comes in. All right, and this is just so you can, build up that muscle memory of where your fingers are supposed to fall. To F sharp minor. And it still sounds very beautiful like this. Whoops. A little heavy-handed there. But work it out like that, and then, when you're ready, add the triplets. It's always from the bottom to the top. there you have it, the first 8 measures of the Moonlight Sonata. It's been a pleasure showing you guys this much, and I hope to see you over at HDpiano.com to learn the rest. So join me over there, and in the meantime, if you could like and subscribe here on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, that would be much appreciated, and that way you can stay in the know about all of our upcoming tutorials. My name is Devin with HDpiano.com. We'll see you guys soon.